right, Lewis, a lot to unpack there, including a quote that basically compares Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr, excuse me. They're a couple Carr brothers. Hard to keep up with them sometimes. But compares them, and pretty favorably for Derek Carr. But could Rodgers and the Packers, you think, have done more to keep Davante Adams in Green Bay based off how we answered that question?
No, I don't think so. And you know what? I'm cool with that. As a matter of fact, I like that. I like the fact that, you know, one of the things that I preach all the time, Field, and that we've talked about, you know, both privately and on air, about relationships and how much building them, managing them, growing them is really one of the things that gives you a competitive advantage in the NFL if you have a healthy situation in that way, is something that Davante valued, man. And that wasn't to say he didn't value and or have a good relationship with Aaron Rodgers, but he said, one, I basically don't know how much longer he's going to be here, and I don't want to sacrifice the rest of my career in the event that he's not there. You know, and I think what he's alluding to is the fact that I may have substandard quarterback play and have it affect my career. And two, I have a guy out here in Vegas that's my boy, that I played with in college, that I know very well, that I expect us to be able to hit the ground running in a system that really is going to be tailor-made for both of us. I mean, look, I was a pretty good receiver in college. Derek was a pretty good quarterback in college. We had nice chemistry there. We're going to have nice chemistry out here in Las Vegas because we're both much better. Read some of the scouting reports on Davante Adams from the time he was in Fresno to where he is now. Read some of the scouting reports on Derek Carr from the time he was at Fresno to where they are now. They're both light years ahead of that, and now they get to play together and be happy together and probably play, who knows, 4, 5, 6 years more together. That's a beautiful thing, man. I think you're going to see that trend start to really ramp up in the NFL like it is in the NBA. Guys want to get together and play with one another because relationships, I think, is one of those areas that it's not exploited enough and not utilized enough in terms of allowing it to give you a competitive advantage. And I think we're going to see that starting to change.
Stars are starting to align, you could say. So, Ninko, everything really good right now in Las Vegas. How about on the other side of this coin? What's your level of concern about the Packers offense without Davante Adams?
I mean, it's high. You have to think in clutch moments when you're in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, every play, usually when it's a huge one, is going to that number one guy, that big guy. And when you're game planning against those teams, you have to take away the biggest target. So now Green Bay, they don't have that target, roughly 30% of what their offense was last year. So everyone's talking, oh, the ball will be spread around more now and other people will have opportunities. I don't believe that. I mean, you think about when you have a talent on the field like Adams, other people are going to benefit from that. So now he's not on the field. Who else is going to step up? And listen, I know they have some young guys. They drafted a couple guys. But in my day, when I was on the team and they drafted somebody, especially in my position, I was like, it's going to take a couple of years for this guy to get it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.